Hello YouTube, my name is Travis and this is Bacon and Backpacking. Here's a preview of what's coming up in today's episode. Well, there's always something, huh? So this door was locked the last time I was here. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, we are in one of my favorite places in the state of Ohio to backpack. We are in the Mohican State Forest. The weather today is absolutely amazing. It is 65 degrees right now. It's the first weekend of March, so for Ohio, that's kind of a big deal. The last two backpacking trips I did, I think the low was 20 degrees for the one, and then last weekend it was 17. The low for tonight is 60. So I'm super excited. I kind of threw this trip together, at the last minute, but we're going to come out here and get it done. It's going to be great. There is a wind advisory that's going to be kicking in somewhere between about 2 to 5 a.m. with 20 to 30 mile an hour sustained winds with gusts up to 50 miles per hour. And then there's also a 40 to 60% chance of rain starting at about 6 in the morning. So we're gonna have it all. This may not be the most impressive thing to some of you watching, but to me, one of the big reasons why I love Mohican, other than the variety, is just the forest itself. It is very diverse. There are almost like different biomes as you go through Mohican. I'm a real nerd for what the sunlight does inside of pine forests like this. It's just freaking beautiful out. I have a little bit of a road walk here, so I thought I would take this opportunity to do two things. One, crush some miles, and then two, just give you guys a little bit of information about Mohican in case you plan on, doing a trip out here. So first of all, we are in Mohican State Forest. There is also a state park. Now, there are no backpacking trails in the state forest, but that doesn't mean that you can't backpack here. There's probably over 40 miles of trails here. We are on two bridle trails today, the red and the blue. Mohican has what they call park and pack campsites. You have to stop at the state forestry office, and there are 10 sites, and you have to fill out a little form. It's free, but you just have to register for it. So Mohican's always a gamble because you have these 10 campsites out in the backcountry, but they're all within a mile of a parking space. So most people use those as like camping that you have to walk to, right? You'll see people carrying coolers and cords of firewood and, like all kinds of stuff I've seen people carry because it's very accessible. So Mohican can be really difficult to get a spot in when the weather gets nice. And there's also a 26-mile mountain bike trail out here. So I've done like an 18-mile loop out here. You have to get a little bit creative, look at the maps, kind of create your own route and figure it out yourself. But I promise you it's worth it. This place is amazing. Yep, this is Ohio, all right. 65 degrees and I'm walking on snow and ice. This is the trail. Suppose I should have mentioned, technically the bridle trail we're on right now is closed. and I see why. This stretch of the trail is being used currently as an access road for some sort of tracked vehicle. It looks like until I get to this road, I'm just gonna be walking through this crap. Well, there's always something, huh? So I just wanted to show you guys this real quick. We're walking down a pretty busy road. I think it's a state route. It's only for like a quarter of a mile. This normally isn't part of the bridle trail loop, but we were out here 4 or 5 months ago, and over here they were logging all that, and there isn't really a trail there. We're only road walking for about a quarter of a mile, and then we'll be back on the trail. Like I said, the good news is with a couple of these, short road walks, you can cover some serious ground pretty fast, even though we're going uphill. And it's a lot better than that mud we just walked through, I'll tell you that. All right, so sit down for 5 minutes, get some food. We are 4 miles in. So I'm gonna grab some food, eat about half of it here, eat the other half while I'm walking, baby. We only have about 3 miles left till we get to camp. We can post up and chill out. So I'll see you guys in a couple minutes, huh? So this door was locked the last time I was here. Looks like somebody busted it open. Some kids. This floor does not feel stable, so we're gonna get out of here. Little bridal camp here. We're gonna keep pushing on. Could not ask for a more beautiful day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Campsite 2, probably my second favorite campsite in Mohican. Let's give you the grand tour here. What do we got? Still got our little table right here, fire pit with this little grill thingamajob here. Let's see, doesn't look like any trees are gonna fall on me in the middle of the night. Everything's straight, nothing looks dead. Yeah, so Hammock is going to go over here someplace, and yeah, let's get rolling. All right, so here it is. This is the video that everybody has been waiting for. I've been getting asked questions like, what gear do you have? What do you take with you? What should I buy? What's good? So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna empty out my entire pack. We're gonna do a junk on the bunk. You guys can get a look at what sort of gear that I have. And this is not meant to be like an in-depth review of anything. I will be reviewing all of my gear at some point. That's not what this is. This is a brief overview to give you an idea of what sort of products you need to bring with you. It's about 65 degrees with a low of 60, okay? So very fair weather, all right? So without further ado, I'm just gonna start ripping stuff open. All right, so first of all, the pack. I told you guys, this is the Z-Packs Arc Air 50. This pack is waterproof. It is very lightweight. It has a 50-liter capacity. It is an amazing pack. I love it. Buy one. That is my Gore-Tex top and bottom. It is a waterproof fabric, and it also has a DWR water repellent on it. It will keep you dry, even in super bad rain, and it will also keep the wind off of you as well too. So it can be used as a shell. That piece of gear will help keep you warm and dry. I have the Toaks 1.1 liter pot, and then I don't know what size the coffee cup is that's in there. All right, so I have a coffee cup, I have like a little lid or skillet, and then I have like a big cooking pot as well too. This is a cheap Amazon brand little stove, okay? This thing was like $9. I have had it for 2 years and have probably used it on 20 plus trips, and it still works the first time, every single time. I brought an empty wide mouth bottle with me. Doesn't much matter what it is. This is so in the middle of the night, if I don't want to get out of my hammock, I will just pee in this. This is just a freezer bag. This is for all of my trash that I have. Make sure you always pack out whatever you packed in. This is the case for my Shure MV88. That is the microphone that I have attached to my iPhone 13 Pro right now, which records all of my videos. So this is the case for that whenever I take the microphone off. This is the Silky Pocket Boy. This is the best backpacking saw on the market. If you're looking at a saw, just buy this one, please. It's cheap. It works great. You can get replacement blades for it. It's a great product. Best saw I've ever used. Just buy it. This is the Mora Carbon. Okay. This is my knife. It is full tang. It has a Scandinavian grind, which makes it very easy to sharpen. It does have a 90-degree spine on it, but I use this mainly for processing firewood. It doesn't really get used for much of anything else. This is my headlamp. I don't know what brand it is. I've had it for like 10 years. I picked it up from a friend in the Marine Corps. It doesn't have any name or anything on it, but it's worked for a decade and I can see in the dark with it. So that's all there is to that. Also, there are spare batteries in here as well too, in case it goes out in the middle of the night. This is my fire kit. I have 2 types of ignition in here. I have 2 Bic lighters because 2 is 1 and 1 is none. This is a fire starter that I picked up from REI. Again, don't know the name of it. These are little cotton swabs covered in Vaseline. You can do this with cotton balls or the little like pancake looking flat ones, whatever those are called. You can coat those in Vaseline and they make an excellent fire starter. This is my ferrocerium rod. All right, last 2 pieces of gear. This is a little REI microfiber towel. This thing is clutch for drying off when you have to do water crossings. If you get some wet gear, you get yourself wet, whatever. You want to do some dishes, things like that. Highly recommend getting one of these. It weighs like less than an ounce. This is the Fitness City long-handled titanium spork. Longest titanium spork on the market. A lot of people don't like this thing being huge. It takes up space, it gets in the way, it does odd things in the pack, right? But that's why I keep it on the outside. The reason I have this is because I just buy a lot of freeze-dried meals. The pouches are this deep. I don't want to be sticking my fingers and stuff, you know, down in the sauce that's in those packets. So that's why I have the long spork, okay? This is made from some sort of reclaimed foam. This is a sit pad from REI. I'll tell you what, if you're not going to rock a backpacking chair, buy something like this. This one's overpriced because it's from REI. That's just kind of what they do. But this will keep you warm. It will keep you dry. Insulate yourself from the ground. These are cheap. They weigh like, I think this one weighs 4 ounces. Just get something like it. Go to Walmart, buy a $10 foam pad, and just cut off a chunk of it that you want to use. You could even score it a little bit, like a third of the way through, so that it folds like this does. All right, so this is our food bag. This is not an actual food bag, guys. This is just a military dry bag, okay? If I was going into bear country, where running into a bear was a serious threat, I would have some sort of scent resistant bag or something like that, okay? I don't know how much of a difference that makes, but I would at least, you know, attempt to, you know, try to keep the bears away by making the food harder to smell. All right, so in here, dried fruit medley. That is from Walmart. Trail mix. That is from Walmart. Pepperoni. That is from Walmart. This is my fuel canister for my stove. Amazon. Liquid IV. Could also get at Walmart, but I recommend just buying like 100 packs of them online. This is an electrolyte drink mix. Don't take Gatorade, don't take Powerade. Take this, it's way better. Cliff Bar. Walmart pulled pork packets. Couple of those in there. This is my goodies pack. Taster's Nasty. This is Nescafe coffee, like instant coffee. There's another liquid IV, and then there's also a hot chocolate mix in here. That's what I use for my creamer in the morning. I know, you're welcome. This is Walmart chicken pack and some chicken flavored ramen noodles. One of the cheapest meals you're gonna get. That's a $2 meal right there. And then the all-star for the evening. This is the Peak Beef Pasta Marinara. Peak beats the brakes off of Mountain House. If you're looking at the $8 or $9 for the Mountain House, and you're looking at the $12 or $13 for this, $5 isn't going to make you go broke. Buy this instead. What do we have? 1,040 calories. Okay, 55 grams of fat, 56 grams of carbs, 49 grams of protein. Okay, this is good for someone like me at the end of the day. Look, I weigh 230 pounds. If I don't eat a bunch of food out here, when I wake up in the morning, my legs are dead. They're burning on the first hill. So I have to eat a ton, probably 6,000 calories a day out here, okay? If you're a 120-pound person, even better, because this will probably last you 2 or 3 meals. Pop-Tart. A Met RX protein bar. The big 100s, they call them. You can get them at any gas station, Walmart. I don't know if you guys just saw the chipmunk. He like hissed at me. I heard it go psst, and then watched it crawl down into the hole. Super Cookie Crunch. Again, this is a 410-ish calorie protein bar. Highly recommend getting these. Okay, so this is my bear bag. I actually need to replace this. This is way too big. Okay, I hang my food bag from a limb up in a tree. You take this, you put a rock or a stick or something in it, attach it to your paracord, and you throw it over the tree branch. This thing hits the ground on the other side. Then, what I would do later is when I have all my food in here, I would take the carabiner and attach this to that paracord, hoist it up in the air, tie it off so my food's hanging, you know, up in a tree someplace. And then my paracord for the bear line is also in here as well. This is my like hammock accessory kit. This has all of my stakes to stake out my tarp, and also all of the paracord that goes on the tarp as well too. So this is a part of my tarp element. This is my tarp. This is a war bonnet mountain fly. It's the super fly goes like all the way to the ground. It's basically like a tent that goes over your hammock. This is the one below that that offers less coverage. All right, now here's a huge hack. I do not like dry bags. Now, yes, I know there's a dry bag right there, but I'm using it for my food bag. First of all, my pack itself is waterproof. Huge win. But just in case, this is a trash compactor bag, not a trash bag, a trash compactor bag. They are thicker. They measure that in, I think it's called mils. This is a couple mils thicker than your run-of-the-mill. Wow, that was horrible. I swear that wasn't planned. But this is thicker than your normal trash bag. I've used this same bag in here, just stuffing stuff in, ripping things out, okay, for like 8 trips or so, 8 or 9 trips now, I think, and there's not a hole in that bag. Now, even though my pack is waterproof, I still want that in there because you'll see if it rains tomorrow, I am going to have gear that is wet. My pack being waterproof does me no good if I stuff wet gear into my pack. That bag is to segregate my wet and dry gear, okay? So anything that I really want to make sure doesn't get wet is going to go in that trash compactor bag. Inflatable pillow. This is my Whoopee hoodie from Zero Foxtrot. This thing is sweet because it is in Flectarn camouflage. This is my hammock. Everything with my hammock setup is all from the company War Bonnet. They are expensive. My top quilt, my under quilt, my tarp, and my hammock, that's about $1,000 for all that stuff. But it is worth it. I switched to hammock camping because I just can't lay on the ground anymore. I can't, not even on a pad. It's not comfortable. I wake up, my back hurts, my hike sucks the next day. I'm done with it. This is the original Blackbird hammock. It's got a built-in mosquito net and everything. Super cool. Beanie. Probably not going to be necessary. Extra pair of socks. Now, there are 2 more things in here that I don't really want to dig out because of where I'm standing. These usually don't come out until the hammock is up, okay? These are my top quilts and my under quilt. When you think about needing a shelter and a sleep system, there are a couple of elements that go into that. One, you need something, some sort of fly or tarp that will break the wind and shed the rain. A tent, that would be the rain fly. A hammock, that would be the tarp, okay? Or you could just be tarp camping. So something to sleep under. Number 2 is something to sleep in. Okay, that would mean a sleeping bag or a quilt. I'm going to give you guys the biggest revelation you're ever going to hear in your life. A sleeping bag that completely encapsulates your body has zero advantage over a quilt that just drapes over top of you like a blanket. The reason why, the only reason that quilts and sleeping bags work is they loft up and they create a barrier between the cold air outside and the warm air inside. The more loft and the thicker that material, the warmer it will stay inside, the more it will insulate you from that cold air, okay? When you're in a sleeping bag, the part that is under you is compressed down to about the thickness of a piece of construction paper. Guess how much insulation that is providing you? Quite literally zero, about as much as maybe your t-shirt. So when you get a quilt, you can literally, it's about half of the material, so it weighs about half as much. Okay, down is very light. I have 2 quilts in there that are rated for 20 degrees, okay? And they weigh like 2 pounds for both of them, all right? So that's the something to sleep in. In my case would be the quilt. It could be a sleeping bag, okay? Now, something to sleep on is the third thing, all right? In a tent, you can't just lay on the floor of a tent. You need some sort of foam pad. You need some sort of air pad. Again, just like with the layer over top of you, that layer underneath you is providing protection from you losing body heat into the ground. Now, I can't sit in the hammock when it's even kind of cold. The limit's probably around like upper 60s that I could lay in just the bare hammock, all right? If it is colder than that, which it will be tonight, 60 degrees and maybe 50-mile-an-hour winds, that's why I have an underquilt, is that second part. That cold air whipping under there will make you freeze, okay? So an underquilt is basically just like it's a blanket that hooks up to your hammock and hangs underneath of it. Now, these are down. Those quilts for the 2 of them are about $700, so I'm not taking them out anywhere near sticks and stuff like that where I might accidentally, you know, rip them or something, okay? So those are going to stay in the pack. That is all of my gear. This chest harness right here, this is made by Hill People Gear. What's inside here is a surprise. All of my clothing right now is made by Kuhl, K-U-H-L. They are expensive. These are their pants. These are their shirts. Another important thing, cotton kills. When cotton gets wet, it does not dry. This is polyester. I can sweat through this, get it rained on a little bit, it will dry out. I won't be cold and wet, okay? Same thing with these pants. Plus, the pants actually have a DWR on them, a water repellent. So you'll see when it rains, the water will actually bead up and run right off of these pants. Now, they're not rain pants. If you're in sustained rain, you will get wet. Okay, these will soak through. But for a little bit of light rain, they actually work fantastic. Now, these are, you can't even see them because they're covered in mud. These are La Sportiva Boots. They are Gore-Tex. I would highly recommend. They are very expensive, but they are quite literally waterproof. The only way you're getting water inside of these is if you step into water that is too deep and it goes up above the top of the boot, okay? So that is all of my gear, okay? I'm not saying that this is the best gear in the world or the gear that you have to have, but this kind of gives you an idea of what you would need to take into the field if you wanted to do some sort of backpacking trip. Forgot a couple really important pieces of gear here. First of all, wash your hands. I kind of maybe fell down a little bit of a hill gathering firewood, so it's all good though. All right, so here is the Grail. Best water filter on the market. Just fill it up, push it down. And voila, no parasites, no heavy metals, no bacteria, no viruses, no protozoa. fill up all my water containers so I don't have to make a trip back down here the rest of the night. So the car is across that stream, just about 3/4 of a mile. Easy hike out tomorrow. I've got my tarp as low as I can possibly get it, because we are going to have 20 to 50 mile an hour winds. I've got the doors closed. I've got it pulled down as low as it'll go. I've got this door not attached to the carabiner yet because I have to get in there tonight, but I'll close that one off. Mohican has these little fire pits with like the little grates on them, which is kind of cool. Every single fire we've tried to make backpacking so far this year has been rough. You can see how wet the ground is. And this area down here, well, you can see there's still ice and snow on the ground, even though it got up to about 65 degrees today. I've stayed down at this particular campsite, I think 3 times now, and every single time there's just standing water down here. There's ice, there's snow, everything. Like, this place gets no sunlight down here, so everything is soaking wet. But despite that, with a little bit of skills and a little bit of gear, we've got a sustainable fire going. So I'm going to shut her down for the night here. I'm going to sit around the fire for a little bit. I'm going to make some food. I filled up 3 containers full of water over there, so we won't have to go down to the stream and filter water anymore. So I think that's going to be about it for the night. So it is 6:47. As you can tell, it's still raining a little bit. Wind actually died down, which is strange because 7 o'clock is supposed to start the wind advisory. So I'm halfway packed up, like half my pack is packed. I'm still sitting in the hammock right now. I'm going to take my under quilt off here in a second, pack that away, and then basically it's just the hammock, the tarp, and then I have to go get my my food bag that I hung. But yeah, and then we're ready to go. All right, well, we are Oscar Mike. It actually stopped raining for a second, and yeah, let's cross Pine Run, shall we? Oh, there's some deer tracks from last night. All right, well, there's not really a shallow spot, so I don't really care if we get wet. I'm like a mile from the car, probably not even, so I think we're just gonna go for it, you know? Oh, okay. I was trying to kind of not get wet, but it's sketchy. Yep, there it was, got wet. And last night at about 3 o'clock in the morning, I heard a big wind gust, and there was a heck of a snap, and I'm like, man, the tree came down. Well, I'm pretty sure this is it, because this looks fresh, and it was from this general direction. Like, it sounded pretty close, you know, like it was freaking loud. And yeah, pretty sure that was it. So that's one of the big reasons why I'm getting out of here. This wind advisory is supposed to be peaking right about now, so, you know, wind gusts of up to 50 miles an hour. And there was actually a woman, it wasn't too long ago, 5 or 6 months ago, that actually died hiking Mohican. She was on the Hemlock Gorge Trail during a, you know, really windy day, and the top of a tree snapped off, landed on her, and killed her. So, you know, the danger is never zero. You know, while we're on the topic of the risk never being zero, I hear all these things. It's like, oh, hey, you know, you're outside hiking. Couldn't that be dangerous? You could fall down, break your leg. A tree could land on your head. Get struck by lightning. Bear might eat you. Even though there's no bears in this part of the state, but like I said, the risk for anything is never zero. But the way I look at it is, I know there's about 3 to 5 people per year out of a country of 320 million people. There's 3 to 5 people per year who die in bear attacks. You know, the most dangerous thing you're going to do every single day is get in your car. Statistically speaking, that is the most dangerous thing you will do on a day-to-day basis. You know, I have a much higher likelihood of getting hurt on the way here or the way back than I do actually being here. And then, well, actually, now that I think about it, probably the most dangerous thing that you can do in your day-to-day life is eat the standard American diet. Well, as usual, this trip was good to go. First really rainy trip of the year. First really windy trip of the year as well, too. Like I said, it was only 7 miles. It's a pretty short trip, nothing crazy. But at the same time, though, like I said, if I can get a day or two in Ohio where it's going to be 65 and nice weather in March, I'm going to take it. You know, the rest of this week's going to drop down to the 40s, 30s. We probably have another 4 to 6 weeks of winter left, realistically. So I just wanted to come out here, do something fun. I got to test out the hammock system in the rain, and everything worked great. So good job, Warb, on it. But yeah, I think that wraps up this trip, and we'll see you guys in the next one.